Hi everyone! Another important build that I want to highlight for the Wizards in Season 25 is the Typhon Wizard, as you can see here. This is a quite competitive build on the Wizard class. Now that Firebirds has been brought down a little bit in power, they will be very equal in their performance and the tiers you can push and farm with them. The Typhon Wizard was already a quite good build to play anyway on a Wizard, especially for lower end content such as T16 and bounties. This has been actually one of the top builds in the game for a while now because of this teleport change that has happened a few seasons back. But now that the raw power level of the build is very close to the Firebirds and also the VR Wizard and the LOD versions of some builds, it is definitely really nice to check out. On the PTR I was able to comfortably speed farm 120 plus, even all the way to 125 with this. So it is pretty solid, somewhere around the Firebirds level and also around similar times. It is a bit difficult to go very fast with this build because you have this set up with the Hydra and then you have to cast a Blizzard on them, and then you also have to attack with your Spectral Blades a little bit to stack the Fragment of Destiny. So there are some mechanics involved that kind of work together to really give you the power to blast through those tiers. And you're also missing an Endwalker because you have two mandatory weapon choices here with the Serpent Sparker and the Fragment. But other than that, it is actually quite good. And if you're a bit careful with where you teleport and when you teleport, and use the Illusionist passive to sometimes get the teleport resets when you get hit, you can actually still go at a decent pace of around 3 minutes per run. There are some faster, greater versions possible in case you don't like the pace of it, dropping the Fragment of Destiny in favor of an Endwalker, and you also don't have to worry about the generator anymore, and you can go really fast at that, but obviously have to go down in tiers a little bit. In pushing, this build will also perform pretty well here, so you see me trying a GR145 here. The way that this setup works in particular is that you have the Ransler's Folly to pull enemies together with Twister, and you essentially go from pull to pull every 16 seconds with your convention cycle. You set it up, you blast it down, and you move on, and you essentially totally ignore elites. There are some other versions of this build as well that are much closer to the Twister versions in Season 25 because of how the soul shards work. But here we actually use the Shard of Hatred and not the Terror Shard that almost every other build uses in pushing. So that's actually quite interesting. So you are an AoE machine and you want to essentially just blast down those big packs of trash monsters that you can pull together for massive area damage and move on to the next pack. This setup though requires pretty good execution because you're not really tanky and you don't have teleport, so you need to get a decent map or a chain of maps where you can blast down easy trash and also not worry too much about the elites. So you usually want to try to leave them behind or kite them into a conduit, and then you will get some extra progression there. And you do have a Strick in the setup, so the boss is not the biggest deal. I have no doubt that this build is going to achieve GR150 solo at a bit higher Paragon level. It is definitely up there, somewhere in A tier probably, and working pretty well. In case you want to see a full clear of mine from Season 23 with this setup, you can go watch that. I also have an old guide already. Back then I actually used this Ransler Twister setup to achieve a temporary rank 1, and I think it ended up at rank 8 or so end of season. So you can go check that out if you like. And that's it for this video. So Wizard, even with the Firebird nerf, is still looking pretty solid, and you have a bunch of options to choose from. A bunch of good builds in A tier for pushing at least, and also some variety in farming. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. And if you're a Wizard fan, then I think you're gonna have a great season regardless. So this is it. Hope you liked this video, and I'll see you guys next time.